So the other day, where did that come from? So the other day, I became a feminist. Now, before I became a feminist, I wasn't really sure what it was. I did know that Girlfiend, for a number of years, has been going to these feminist meetings and that she considers herself to be a feminist. And I never really cared to go to these meetings because it was often during like The Walking Dead or something would be on, and I'd be like, no, this television show is way more important than some meeting that requires me to get up off the sofa and leave the confines of my house. Anyway, she says she goes there to deal with living with a pig-headed male like me. Does my head look like a pig? Does it really look like a pig? Like, and on top of that, she has sex with me. Does that mean she's into bestiality if she thinks my head looks like a pig? Anyway, I'm not going to talk about what she's into, but anyway. I mainly wanted to become a feminist to help become closer with Girlfiend. I mean, we're married and all now, so I guess I should start taking steps to, becoming, closer and, I don't know. You're supposed to do things together and stuff when you're married, I think. Anyway, she's been breaking my balls just to, get up off the couch, do something with my life, get a job, help pay the bills, and, all sorts of ridiculous, unwarranted criticisms of me that, frankly, I don't need to put up with. So she was like, why don't you join some sort of support group like I do? I have to go to these feminist meetings just to help, cope with living with you. And I'm like, fine, then I'll find a support group for people like me. And I searched all over, and I couldn't find any sort of support group for men that have to deal with these just completely unwarranted, just ridiculous requests of their loved one. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Girlfiend had to start taking a second job. She had to start working at nights to help pay something like the electric bill. And right off the bat, she breaks my balls because it's apparently my fault the electric bill is so high because I do things like leave the refrigerator door open all the time. Now, when I see a door and it's in the way of something that you frequently go in and out of, like a doorway, wouldn't it be more convenient just to leave the fucking thing open so that you can more efficiently move about through your life? Anyway, I go through like 20 Mountain Dews a day, and I want them cold so they stay in the fridge. What am I supposed to take several seconds opening the fridge door 20 different times a day? Fuck that noise. So anyways, I tried finding a support group for men like me that are married to just women that make our lives borderline insufferable. Just borderline insufferable. Anyway, no such group existed out there, which is ridiculous, which just goes to show that the men are just so fucking lazy and need to get up their ass and do something for lazy guys like me. Anyway, I said, since that's not there, I guess I'll do like the, get closer to your married woman thing and do something that they do. Since Girlfiend is working that second job at night now, she can't go to her regular feminist meetings, and they're right down the street. It's not really an inconvenience to go to. It's in a high school gym, and I'm like, fine, I'll at least go there. I'll convert to being a feminist, and frankly, if I don't like it, I can just say I am. I mean, that's what you do once you get married. You just start lying your ass off to your wife. So I know how it works. Anyway, so I go to the feminist meeting, and right off the bat, everyone's looking at me. And I'm looking back at everyone, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of chicks here. And I say that out loud, and they're like, excuse you? And I was like, I didn't fart or burp. Why should I be excused? But I can do both if you want. And they're like, no. What did you call us? Chicks? And I was like, yeah, it's a room full of chicks. And they're like, oh, like half the people got their hands over their face, hands over their ears, and they're like, no. We are women. We are females. We are not some derogatory sexist term like chicks. And I'm like, what? I don't even know half the words you're saying right now. And they're like, why are you even here? And I was like, I'm here because I'm trying to get closer to my wife. And they're like, you're married? And I was like, yeah. Are you jealous? Which they were. Anyway. No applause for that. It's like my catchphrase. Anyway? fuckers. Anyway, they're like, just, all right, we can't legally tell you not to be here, but just sit near the back and just try not to interfere with us. We have important business to talk about tonight. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I have no idea what is going on, so I'm probably just gonna not want to hear it anyway, so I'd rather be near the back. Like, you go ahead and do that. So I sit near the back, and right away they talk about their first topic of the evening, which is equality on in the workplace for women. Just trying to get women better paying jobs, equal paying jobs to men, stuff like that. And like once they start talking about it, I'm like, excuse me, I'm totally against equality in the workplace for women. And again, they're all with the scoffing, the hands over their faces, fingers in their ears, and I'm just, and they're like, who are you? And I'm like, no, seriously, if you think about it, what guy should be for equality in the workplace for women? Because I'm all for inequality. And by that, I mean, no man should have to work. I mean, if women want to have better paying jobs and more jobs, have all the jobs. I mean, I would love to just be able to sit at home all day, watch any one of the 2,000 channels on my Verizon Fios, which I'm watching right here while I'm making the video. Multitasking here. I'm a fucking sophisticated man. Anyway, I would love to be able to do that. Now, granted, I am able to do that because, you know, I don't work. I don't plan on working. In fact, the last job I had was at that dildo factory, but it wasn't because I wanted to work at the dildo factory to say, you know, I'm working, man, I'm paying bills and stuff. I just did it for comedic purposes of being able to say that I've worked at a dildo factory. Isn't that funny? I know, right? Anyway, I worked at the dildo factory for about a week or two, and it's like yeah, that's good enough, I'm out. And I started like, explaining this to the people at the feminist meeting. They're like, why are you telling us this? Why? And I was like, I don't know. I thought I was supposed to share something, and that seemed like something cool to share. Why? Have you worked at a dildo factory? Do you have bad memories of it or something? They're like, no. Just, look, we're going to level with you. And they sit me down, and they're like, listen, you obviously don't understand. Women have been oppressed in society by men for a number of years. Many women have been held down at the workplace and just in society in general. Because men can be pig-headed, men can be oppressive in their actions, men can do something like hire a man that they're more buddies with rather than hire a more qualified female. Men can just dehumanize women by seeing them as no more than sex toys for them. It's stuff like this that really needs to be addressed in society so that, frankly, both sexes can live in harmony, can understand each other better. And they say that to me. And they're like, do you understand that? Do you understand that there is genuine inequalities in society between men and women? And I just said, that makes a lot of sense. And then I asked her if she wanted to go home and have a three-way with me and Girlfiend. And she's like, what? I was like, oh, well, if guys aren't your thing, you can just, you know, do it with Girlfiend and I'll film it, right? She looks at me shaking her head and says, get the fuck out. I was like, why? Looks at me and just says, get the fuck out or I'll rip your head off. She didn't specify which one, but I didn't want to find out. So I was like, you know what? Screw you guys. You don't even have Thin Mints here or any sort of refreshments. I'm going home. So anyways, I went home, got the old Fios remote out, started watching TV, watched it till about 4 a.m. till Girlfiend came home from her night job, and then she starts her regular job up at 8 a.m. in the morning, so she has a couple hours of sleep, which is good enough. And I explained to her that I'd become a feminist. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, I became a feminist. I decided to, you know, get close to you now that we're married and all, you know, trying to do things to help us, you know, get that nice bond going together now that we're husband and wife. And she's like, what makes you a feminist? You can't just say you're a feminist. I was like, no, I even went to that meeting down at the high school gymnasium that you go to every Tuesday and Thursday night. And she's like, you did? She's like, well, what did they say when you got there? I was like, they talked about some job equality stuff, and then they told me to get the fuck out because I invited one of them over to have three-way with us. By the way, do you like that head speaker girl fiend? Like, I think she's pretty cute. Would you like to have three-way with her? And girl fiend's like, I can't take this. I'm out of here. So she left. And it's been about 67 days. And she hasn't come back. Why hasn't my wife come back? I mean, became a feminist for her, and she leaves. Oh my God. Death Wish 3 is on right now. Have you guys ever seen Death Wish Part 3 with Charles Bronson? Remember in the end of the movie? I'm sorry if this is going to spoil it for you, but it's so badass you got to hear it. In the end of the movie, Charles Bronson gets the villain in the apartment room, and he has to shoot. The villain has to shoot either the cop or Charles Bronson. And he's like making up his mind, and while he's trying to make up his mind, Charles Bronson grabs a bazooka and shoots him in the fucking chest. Fucking awesome movie. Girl Fiend, have you ever seen Death Wish Part 3? Girl Fiend! The fuck is she? Anyways, this is a good movie. True story.